Now, if you know me, you know that I don't like to BS. If I like something, I'm gonna tell you, and if I don't like something, well, I'll also tell you. That being said, yeah, I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold6 for 3 days now, and this phone has 90% impressed me. So, let's go ahead and talk about the pros and the cons. First, let's go ahead and talk about the price because yes, unfortunately, it did increase by $100, which of course many people are not really happy about, but there's a simple fix. For a limited time, Samsung is offering a great pre-order deal. You can get up to $1,200 of trade-in credit, double the storage for free, and even 1 year of Samsung Care Plus included. Now, if you guys are interested, I'll have a link down below in the description. The design of the Galaxy Z Fold6, in my opinion, is the most refined foldable out there. Samsung has shrunken the bezels and made the phone a tad shorter. Now, what this means to you is, of course, a wider cover display, which is now finally perfect for texting and not really feeling claustrophobic. As someone that's been praying for a wider cover display, I'm happy. Now, I really appreciate that Samsung also made the chassis of the phone nice and matte. No more glossy, thank goodness, because glossy, your fingerprints are gonna get all over it. You're gonna see smudges and just the oils from your fingers. By doing this, by keeping it nice and matte, you don't see any fingerprints at all. Like literally no fingerprints whatsoever. The oils from your skin don't show up. It just looks nice and clean. It just feels so good to use without a case. But I know, let's be honest, you're probably gonna put on a case anyway. Now, another big design change is the weight. This comes in at 239 grams for a folding phone. Just as an example, the iPhone 14 Pro Max with its stainless steel design is 1 gram heavier. Yeah, this phone, that's basically a tablet, is lighter than an iPhone 14 Pro Max. My voice cracked because I still can't believe it. The increased brightness is definitely one of the first usability features that I noticed when using this phone during these 3 days. From the moment you pick it up and you walk outside, you automatically notice that 2600 nits of peak brightness, up from 1750 on the Fold 5. And this of course also translates to the inner display, which is fantastic because as you guys know, the inner display is plastic. Basically, there's a plastic layer on top and you're not really allowed to take it off. Now, plastic is obviously going to be way more reflective than actual glass is, so the brighter a display can get, the less reflections you see and the more you enjoy your content. Now, increasing the brightness is one thing, of course, but keeping the colors in check is a completely different beast to deal with, and this phone deals with it perfectly. No matter the brightness level, the contrast and colors still continue popping, especially while watching HDR content. It just looks so good. This phone is great for media consumption because of that and its perfect size. It's pretty much between a tablet and a phone. So the price kind of does make sense if you think about it. If you don't really want a tablet, if a tablet's too big for you, but you also want a display that's bigger than the phone you already have, this phone's it. You have it. It's right here. Another thing that really took me by surprise are the speakers. These speakers sound fantastic. Now, Samsung didn't really mention anything about upgrading the speakers, so I assume it's because of the new design, but they sound really good, especially whenever you enable Dolby Atmos. But I do have one small complaint because let's be honest, nothing's perfect. The speakers, as you guys know, there's one on top of the phone and one on the bottom of the phone. Now, whenever you open up the phone, all the speakers are aligned to this side of the phone, meaning if you're watching movies or listening to music, 100% of the sound is coming from the left side of the phone. Now, of course, if you do this, then of course all the speakers are on the top, but apps like for example, Twitter, they're not really optimized to be running in this landscape orientation. They're really meant to be running vertically. So that's kind of how I use this fold the most. I use it vertically, and just hearing the sound come from one side of the phone, it's a little bit funky. I would have rather preferred them put a speaker here. Well, there's actually already a speaker here, but instead of having another speaker right there, they should have just moved this over here. That's it. It's a win-win, I think. I don't know, there's gonna be someone out there that thinks this is a bad idea. Let me know in the comments. So what about the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the newest chip from Qualcomm? Well, yeah, of course it's gonna be good. I mean, playing games on even a mid-range Snapdragon chip is gonna be plenty. Of course this phone's gonna deal with multitasking like nothing. It's gonna be like butter. Phones nowadays are getting so powerful that you don't even know how to use that power. Let's be honest, we're all scrolling through social media and taking photos anyway, right? You don't need a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 to do that. But the reason why I prefer it or like it is because of the efficiency, which is also good for battery health in the long run. Because of the upgraded vapor chamber along with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, this phone just doesn't get hot. It is super efficient. It doesn't even get hot when I'm fast charging in my car, which I cannot say for other phones. iPhone. Seriously, my iPhone automatically overheats whenever I go into my car and I plug it into a fast charger. It automatically gives me a warning saying, "Oh, phone's too hot. Try charging later." What do you mean try charging later? I want to charge now. Now, of course, hardware is only part of the price you paid whenever you are buying this phone. Another bigger part is, of course, the software. It's one thing to make a folding phone, but a completely different thing to make a folding phone actually useful. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, for example, something simple as taking a selfie. We all know a selfie camera is never as good as the rear camera, so next time you want to take a selfie, just click on selfie, open the phone, and now you can take a selfie using the rear cameras. Even things like the navigation bar is made so you never even have to go to the home screen. All your main apps are here on the bottom, and the rest are all hidden in this little corner button. Samsung's software whenever it comes to folding phones is just seriously so good. Now, when it comes to AI, of course you're getting all of the goodies from the Galaxy S24 series, such as holding down on the display and then your video is automatically in slow motion, and of course things like using AI to fix grammar, change your writing style, translation, and more. Now, there is a new feature, so whenever you are taking a selfie, you can turn that selfie into some creative cartoon or sketch and just kind of play around with it. I think it's kind of fun. The feature that really kind of took me by surprise, and I actually played around with it way more than I thought I would, is the ability to just take a photo of anything and just draw on it, and then AI will just fill in the rest and then just kind of guess what you drew and actually put that into the photo. It looks crazy realistic depending on, of course, the photo and depending on what you're drawing. The full list of AI features can be seen here, and of course I'll do a deep dive whenever I am doing my full review. Now, what about the cameras? Well, this phone has the same cameras as the last Fold with the exception of the ultrawide camera. It now features a larger sensor, which means more light can enter it, making low light photos look better than before. Even though the rest of the cameras are the same, the new chip paired with that software optimization still means you have better photo quality than the Fold 5. The photos do look impressive like always. I mean, it's Samsung, so you have more detail than before with less over sharpening, which is always a good thing. Now, it is a bit disappointing that Samsung didn't upgrade all of the cameras with better sensors for the difference to be more dramatic, but like I said, the software does do a good enough job to where it's still noticeable. You'll take fantastic looking photos and videos with no issues at all, and of course I will be doing a dedicated camera review going over all of the features, so if you guys do want to see that, definitely hit that subscribe button and then click that bell icon to be notified when that video drops. Now, as far as battery life goes, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's been too early to tell because during the first couple days, even during the first week, I'm using the phone a lot more because I'm trying to put it through a stress test to give you guys an honest review, kind of, see what makes or breaks the phone. So for now, I can't really give you guys a normal battery life example, but you can expect it to be as good as the Fold 5 because, well, the battery is the same exact capacity, 4,400 milliamp hours. But it's the same instead of being better because, of course, this does have a much brighter display than the Galaxy Fold 5, which kind of negates that the efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. Now, if I had to absolutely guess, I could assume you could get probably 6.5 hours of screen on time. Again, don't worry, I'll cover this more in depth in my full review, and I'll give you guys the full battery statistics. So far, 3 days in, I can confidently say that Samsung changed the Galaxy Z Fold6 just enough to make it so much more fun than before and better than before. But what about the Z Flip 6? Well, we'll get into that in the next video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely click that like button. It's free and it helps me out a lot and I always truly appreciate it. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. This was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.